Hi, it's Andy, and today I'm showing you everything I bought in Edinburgh this weekend. So for me, the weekend's just finished. It is in fact Sunday today. For you, I don't know when you'll be seeing this, but basically, in the last weekend of September, Spoops came up to visit, and a bunch of us came down to Edinburgh to visit with Spoops and other people. And well, of course, we went book shopping. So I'm going to go through everything I bought because I did get a decent chunk. There are also two books I want to show you just because one I got from Vicky, one I got as a pre-order, so I'm just going to include it because I got it in the weekend. But yeah, I'm just going to get straight into this. So the first book I had in pre-order was Babel by Arif Kwang, and this is the Waterstones exclusive edition. This has some extra bits in the back. It's just a bibliography that's been annotated and a description of the characters, like a more in-depth description. But it's got this lovely cover that's like the Fairylight hardback, and I really wanted the Fairylight hardback because of the cover, so I just had to get the paperback. I absolutely love it. I'm really annoyed that the sticker has a really sticky bit there. Babel by Arif Kwang, if you don't know, is a historical fiction with a little bit of fantasy, kind of more on the magical realism-ish side, I don't know, about our main character Robin, who is brought from Canton in China to the UK to be brought up by this professor and then taken to Oxford to work in the Tower of Babel, and work on translation work to do metalworking and specifically silverworking, which is how this world sort of works. It is quite dystopian, historical, with a little dash of fantasy in there, and as it says on here, it was one of the books of the year, so it's such a good read for me. My next pre-order, and one I've already read, is Percy Jackson and the Chalice of the Gods by Rick Riordan. This is the signed Waterstones edition, so I've got the signature and these edges. Look at that. That is so... I actually really like this cover. It doesn't really match my other Percy Jackson covers, but I'm not mad. I really like it. And I have already read this. I read it the minute I got it. So, yeah. Very happy with this. This is set after Heroes of Olympus, but before Trials of Apollo. So you can read it if you're up to that point. And this is about Percy, who is a demigod. He is the son of a god and human, and he has saved Olympus God knows how many times now. Gods know how many times now. And now he is a high school senior and he wants to go to university, but he needs to get 3 letters of recommendation from the gods, and so the gods ask him to do tasks. We are going to get a trilogy, so each task and each letter gets its own book, and this is the first. And in this, Ganymede has lost the chalice of the gods, the cup that Zeus drinks from, and so Percy has to find it before Zeus finds out. And I loved it so much. Next up is the one that Vicky gave me, and that is Kate Moss's Warrior Queens and Quiet Revolutionaries, How Women Also Built the World. And again, this is a signed copy. Unfortunately, I didn't have it before I went to see Kate Moss, so I couldn't get it personalised, but it doesn't matter. I've got 8 books personalised now. You know, I'm more than happy with that. I cannot wait to read this. This is a non-fiction about women who were very important in history but got forgotten, basically. Kate Moss is... I don't think she sees herself as a historian, but she's very much a historian as a hobbyist. She loves researching her books and she loves learning the history of certain places that she goes to. And this is a compilation of some of that work that she's done. And I'm so excited to read this, especially after hearing her talk about it on Tuesday. She was there for the Ghost Ship Ghost Ship like siren thing, but she also did talk about this book. Next is a book that I don't actually know what it is. I got this from Topping in Edinburgh, and it is a blind date with a book, and it had a little synopsis. I wish I thought about taking a photo of the synopsis for you, but I did not. But basically it was a historical fiction set during World War II, and it just called to me. So let's open this together and find out what book I got. Oh my god, they taped this up well. It is The Country of Others by Leila Selmani. I've never heard of this or the author. I do have a book by Emma Stonex who has blurbed this. Let's find out what it's about together. 1944, after the liberation, Mathilde leaves France to join her husband in Morocco. but life here is unrecognisable to this brave and passionate young woman. Her life is now that of a farmer's wife, with all the sacrifices and vexations that it brings. Suffocated by the heat, by her loneliness on the farm, and by the mistrust she inspires as a foreigner, Mathilde grows increasingly restless. As Morocco's struggle for independence intensifies, Mathilde and her husband find themselves caught in the crossfire. Interesting. If anybody's read this, let me know what you think. I am looking forward to giving this a go. Next up is a trilogy of books that I already have, but they've done new covers for them, and the covers are just absolutely stunning. And that is the Magicians trilogy. So I will show you them one by one. We have the Magicians, the Magician's Land, and the Magician King. Look at those. Oh. So this is the comparison of the last one. I really like that they've kept the tree, and the key. That's really, really interesting how they've done that. I am so happy. These are so cool. This to me says a lot more about this. This feels more representative of the series than this one, but I love this. I love these new ones. I really, really do. The Magicians is one you'll have heard me talking about more recently because I've just reread the first one, which is The Magicians. Oh my god, they're floppy. Even better. The Magicians is about Quentin Coldwater, who is 18 and about to go to college, and he is due to have an interview for Princeton because he is very, very smart, in the top 1% of his class, very, very smart. But when he gets there, the interviewer is dead, and when the paramedics come, one of them is a bit strange and gives him a manuscript. And in this manuscript is a unfinished novel of a series that has, so far as he was aware, been completed. It's basically like Narnia, so it's called the Philadelphia and Further series, and this is a series that Quentin's been obsessed with when he was younger, and this is the next in the series, even though the guy died years and years and years ago, and it's called The Magicians. But as he looks at this, the top page whisks off and he goes chasing after it, fighting through this New York alleyway full of decaying plant matter and thorns and stuff, and goes through this fence and suddenly finds himself not in New York anymore. He's in fact gone to Brakebill School. Brakebill School is a magic university, basically, so it's like a postgraduate or post-high school magical university, and there he sits a test and gets to enter Brakebills and become the sort of best version of himself, or so he thinks. This series is really, really dark, and it is really, really full of triggers. It is just it's one of my favourites. It really, really is, and I'm so happy to have these nice, lovely covers. Next, talking of dark, I also picked up this beautiful edition of the Grimm Fairy Tales. I do have another Grimm's Fairy Tales edition, but that's written or rewritten by Philip Pullman, or edited by Philip Pullman, something by Philip Pullman. This is the original Jacob and Wilhelm Grimm versions, or not quite original because they are in English. Obviously, weren't originally written in English, but these are the English versions, and I've already read them. I just really, really loved this beautiful edition, so it will be going with my cloth-bound classics. If you don't know the Grimms are the storytellers behind, or really the editors, I suppose, behind all the stories you know and love, from Cinderella to pretty much pick a Disney film. Not quite all, but I can't think of any more. But these are two brothers who would go around and collect stories, and they wrote them down from folklore and made it into the Grimm's Fairy Tales. And these are a lot darker than the fairy tales that you and I know. If you know the Grimms, you know what I mean. If you don't, this is where all the really horrifying fairy tale stuff comes out of. Yeah, they were not kidding around way back when. Next up is a book that I'm really excited about, even though I know pretty much nothing about it, and that is Wildfire by Hannah Grace. This is also a signed edition from Topping, and this is about, well, it's a university romance thing. I don't even know what it's about. I know there's a camp involved. I don't know if it's... I don't know what else it's about. I just know that I loved Icebreaker, and I'm really excited to get to this. Next book is a chunker. If you would believe it, it actually has less pages than Wildfire, and that is The Song of the Cell by, and let me get this right, Siddhartha Mukherjee. Probably messed that up. I tried. My mouth doesn't work properly. Anyway, this is a non-fiction about the cell. This literally is just a book that goes into the science of cells and how single-celled organisms work, how we became multi-celled organisms, and everything that's important about the cell. My speciality when I did forensics at university was DNA analysis. I really love biology. I really love geeking out about this stuff. And Vicky's already claimed I read this once I'm finished, so yeah. I'm surrounded by geeks and I love it. But this is actually not that much. There's not that much. Like, there's so many notes and stuff in the back, and so many. It's basically just like the bibliography in the back. Like, that's how much research goes into these books. But it's only just over 300 pages. So yeah, I'm really excited to read this and geek out about cells. Next is One Moonlit Night by Rachel Hoare. I've read a Rachel Hoare before, which is A Beautiful Spy. And I really enjoyed that. Really liked the writing style. Really liked the story. So when I saw this, I was like, why not? Picked it up. We'll see how I get on with it. And yeah, this is World War II historical fiction, basically. Next up is The Long Game by Elena Armas. Again, don't really know what this is all about, but it's Elena Armas, and I really liked the American Roommate Experiment, and it's been blurbed by Ellie Hazelwood, so I picked it up. I feel like it probably has something to do with football, since he has a football. And yeah, that's all I really know. Sorry if you can hear Hamish licking in the background. He's still licking his foot, and I'm about to like tape his mouth shut. Not literally, I wouldn't actually do that, but I'm getting to desperate measures here because he will not stop licking his foot. He's going to get a cone. I'm going to go find the cone. I'm going to put a cone on him in a minute. Anyway, continuing. Next one is Don't You Forget About Me by Valerie McFarlane. I was scared to pick this up because I've been burned by Valerie McFarlane before, and not in a way that her book wasn't good, in a way that my friend had just died and I thought I was reading a fun rom-com, but actually it was a really fairly hard-hitting piece about a group of friends and what happens when one of the sort of cornerstone members of that group dies. So yeah, reading that right after one of my friends died was not the best at all. So yeah, that was great. But this one I think is actually meant to be a rom-com. It says wildly funny and wildly romantic. So funny and warm. I'm really hoping nobody dies in this. I don't know what else it's about. I can't remember. It's a missed opportunity, sort of like childhood friends to lovers-esque type thing, but like they've not seen each other since they were younger. Kind of like Secretly Yours by Tessa Bailey. I don't know. We'll see when I read it. Also, not this weekend, but on Tuesday when I went to the Kate Moss event, I knocked into Porty Books before the event and picked up a copy of The Wake Up Call by Beth O'Leary. This is a signed edition, which is why it's the only one I have in hardback. So let's hope that it's good. This is about a sort of, I think it's like an enemies to lovers. The hotel they're working in is gonna lose, like they're gonna shut. So they have to team up and save this hotel, but they also don't like each other. That's what I think anyway. This sounds very much in the vein of At Your Age, Eve Brown in my head. But we shall see. It is on the October TBR. So. And lastly, the book that I decided to get from Typewriter to get my little figurine, which you have left downstairs. They do origami animals. When you buy something, you get an origami animal. So I went for this, which is The Bone Cave by Dougie Strang, and this is I'm not entirely sure if it's non-fiction mythology or like stories born from mythology, but it's Scottish mythology and ghost stories. That's all I really know about it. So that is everything I bought in Edinburgh. It is a lot of books. They are added a lot to my TBR. But yeah, I'm going to go now. Kay's home, as you can probably hear. And I will see you in the next video.